guys, Nigel here, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and I've got a new kit review for you. And no, you're not going crazy, this is the second time I've done this video. The first one, I took it down, I didn't like it. And as some of you will know, I've now got a new PC, so I'm able to mirror my camera onto my computer so I can actually see on the screen what I'm doing. So if I've got loads of reflections or anything, then I'll see it. So basically, if that happens, I can go, whoops, move it back, and then we've got the reflection gone. So yeah, we're moving forward. Right, so this is the brand new Ford Mustang GT4 from Tamiya. It's a 1/24 scale in their sports car series. Highly detailed static display model, muscular form accurately captured, and yes, I can say they have. Metal plated parts and 2 marking options included. With regards to marking options, I'm pretty sure the aftermarket are going to jump all over this because there are so many different liveries and colour schemes available. You'll be able to build loads of them, and no doubt I will. I'm really hoping they do a British touring car, British GT Championship car. The number 15 that you saw me photograph next to, that car nearly won the GT4 Championship in the UK, but missed out by a point or two. So no more about that. I think if you're into the British GTs, you'll know what I'm talking about. So anyway, since I did my last review, I looked at it and I thought I waffled on far too long about the car, so I'm just going to say a few things about it, about the real car. This is basically based upon a Ford Mustang S550, which is this body shape. You've seen them, they're now available in the UK, they're available all over the world. The first time Mustang's ever been available in right-hand drive. I've actually got one, a 5-litre GT 2017, which is, as you can see here. And then in 2018 they gave them a facelift where they changed the engine from a Coyote 5-litre Gen 2 to a Gen 3. So it now has DI. I believe, although I'm not 100% sure, I believe it has a dual mass flywheel. It has chrome plated bores, and it has a composite plastic sump pan. They changed the shift forks in the gearbox for aluminium, and they had the option of an LCD digital dash and magnetic ride suspension and everything. But the most obvious change is what you can see, the change to the front, as I just showed you. Now alongside those, you've got the GT350 and the GT350R, which can be seen by this different front end here. You can see, I call it the catfish mouth, very much like a Focus RS, and then you've got this area under here with the fangs coming down and everything, and the front splitter. Now this plastic part here, you can see, that is actually from the standard GT350, and then everything underneath it, this splitter which is held on with these straps, isn't. All of this is standard. So so basically, yeah, the GT350, identifiable by its nose, had a different hood, different front wings. It's got air vents in the rear of the front fenders to let air out. The front is actually wider, obviously to improve handling. And the hood is, instead of having the 2 ribs along it here, it's just got the raised centre section with an air extractor vent in the middle. So all very, very nice. And then this one, the Mustang GT4, was first built, the concept of the race GT4 was first shown in June 2015, and it was a GT350R-C. If you want to look it up, don't put GT350RC, because you'll get the Tamiya kit that I reviewed back about a year ago when I begged them to build this. I don't think Tamiya have done it because I begged them. I think they've done it because they had a license to, but I'm so glad they did. So yeah, originally the GT350RC was built by Shelby, and it originally ran the stock flat plane crank. Now, for those of you that don't know the Mustang very well, the 5-litre GT, whether it be 17, 18, whatever, was a 5-litre V8 with a cross-plane crank. The GT350 and GT350R had a 5.2 Voodoo engine. The engine in the other one is called a Coyote. The 5.2 Voodoo engine, and had a flat plane crank. And if you don't know what that means, go and look it up. But it basically changes power delivery. It changes a lot about the car's characteristics. This car, the GT4, built by Multimatic, has a cross plane crank. It gives them a very, very wide power band. And they actually peak maximum power at about 5,500 RPM, but then redline at about 7,500 RPM. So they've got 2,000 RPM of that massive power band. Why, you may think? Well, if you're on a very, very complex, tight, twisty circuit, you won't be changing up and down gears all the time to keep yourself in your power band. So fantastic design, well-developed engine, actually built by Roush Yates. So you've all heard of Roush that do tuning parts for Fords, all started by Jack Roush. And yeah, so you've got Roush building the engine and Multimatic building the car. So Multimatic, if you don't know who they are, go look them up. They're a Canadian firm, and they actually build these GT4s for Ford and then race them. If you look on the Multimatic website, you can find on there, if you search deep enough, there is actually a sales brochure and you can read all about it and look at lots and lots of pretty pictures. But anyway, enough about the car, more about the kit. So, and I'll talk about the car as we go through. So the kit is the normal sort of size Tamiya box for a 24 scale car. And then we go around the box here, we can see on the side we've got the two variants. I'm actually going to be doing this one, the grey. Ed at Premium Hobbies in Weston has kindly agreed to send me a sample of the splash paints. Splash paints do that specific colour. I can't think what it's called now. It's wood grey or something. Tamiya would have you do an XF63 German grey and then give it a coat of clear lacquer, which sounds interesting. And I'm sure if Tamiya are saying do that, it'll be a perfect match. But I'm going to go with the 2K splash paints and paint it in that grey colour. And then you've got the white one there, which is absolutely stunning. The only thing I think when you look at these, when I've seen them built up, I haven't seen one in the flesh, but when I've seen them in images with the white, it looks kind of almost like it's been built, not painted. I think you know what I mean. If you go and look at the images, I think it looks a lot better as a model in the grey. I'm going to build a second one and do it grabber blue with a white interior, as I've seen a picture of one. So yeah, and my Mustang is grabber blue. So here we go. This is the end of the box. Here we can see we've got kit number 354. 24354 is the kit number. And then going over the box, we've got another image there of the model built up in grey. Looking from the back, those exhaust pipes look stunning. And you can see here TS4 German grey, or you can use XF63 as the show in there. TS13 clear or X22 white, semi-gloss black, and TS26 pure white. So and there's some history about it there if you could want to have a look at that, and you can just pause that and have a read. So then at the end of the box is exactly the same. So let's get this box open. And as I said, I did a review of this before and removed it because it was too long-winded. So everything is already open here. So you've got your typical layout of you know, your nice big square sprues, body shell, clear parts, wheels, tires. Sorry, not wheels, tires. And we've got our chrome parts here. We've got decals and everything. So I'll get all this out of the box, and we'll start off by looking through the instructions, the colour schemes, and the decals. Okay, so here we've got the instruction manual. Typical Tamiya style, we've got a nice book with a stapled spine. 12 pages in all. I think there's 26 steps in here. I think it was 26 steps. Yeah, 26 steps in all to build the model. So nothing too complicated. Probably modelers of pretty much all abilities would be able to build this. Even real beginners probably, because it's not that complicated. It doesn't have detailed engine parts, and being a race car, it's fairly simple in its interior and everything. So you know, there's no reason why anybody at any level shouldn't be able to build this. And I will be doing a like a build video series with this, so you'll be able to follow along, and yes, it will get finished. So typical Tamiya, we start off with the cautions and the read before assembly and health and safety. You know, don't let your dog chew the body, and don't stick your knives in your eyes and stuff like that. We've got all the different paints called out here. As you can see, we've got that TS4 and the XF63. For those that are new to modelling, the TS is the Tamiya rattle can, the aerosol cans, and the XF is the normal small bottles of paint. You know, you put on with a brush, or you can thin and airbrush. So that's what your TS, and your LP is your lacquer paints. It's a new range of lacquer paints. They're very, very smelly, so if you don't have all the correct breathing gear and the correct extraction and everything, probably best not use those, because they're not very good for you. And then they're talking about the necessary tools. You need scissors, tweezers, a knife, and some cutters. If you are new to the hobby, the only thing I'm going to mention about tools, I would recommend getting these little Tamiya cutters. They're absolutely brilliant. I actually prefer this type These are chipped, you can see, but I prefer this type to this type. Now I can't remember what the numbers are, but this one, as you can see, has got a longer nose, and I think this one's a better shape than this one. So look them up. When you compare them to God Hand and everything, they're absolutely brilliant, and their pricing is very, very good. So yeah, look them up, but get the ones with the longer point on them. I can't remember what the numbers are now, and I wouldn't like to say because I might get it wrong. But yeah, I'm not promoting Tamiya, I'm just saying that these things are amazing. So, and then they're telling you to get your glues and everything there, and obviously recommending your Tamiya glues there. You've got your extra thin here, and then you've got your extra thin quick setting. This is just a bottle I keep other stuff in. These actual glue bottles, I never throw them away. They're handy for all sorts of stuff. And if you look at my channel, other videos, you'll see I use them for sprue glue and all sorts of stuff. I've got some glue there which has been dyed with black paint, so you can see where it's going. Yeah, the list goes on. Anyway, about this kit. So it starts off here with they're telling us to choose our options. So we've got option A and option B. Now option A is Goodwood Festival, and option B is the Ford official car. Now I can only think that the 17 and 18 are what giving you the Goodwood Festival and the Ford official car bit, because you will see many images of these in the grey and the white. So, and I think customers can actually choose what colour they have as well, so you can look around and do whatever you like. Like I say, if you look on Google, there are pictures of them, no livery at all, grabber blue with a white painted interior. So most race cars have a white painted interior, so that's the way I'm going to go with another one. No decals, no livery, none whatsoever, just grabber blue and white. So right, what we're doing here, we're going to start off with the underside of the car, and this all looks, I've had a look through the plastic parts, it looks very accurate to scale, and the shape and form of it and everything is spot on. So we're adding the rear suspension here. Now if you're a Mustang fan but not into the GT4, you'll be thinking, why has it got that spring there? The standard car has a coil spring in the rear subframe, and then this is a shock absorber which goes up into the inner wheel arch, as you can see here. The race car obviously has a strengthened mount here for the shock absorber, and they're using a coilover because it's far more efficient to use a coilover. Better suspension, easier changing. It's just better all round really than having a great big coil spring sat in your wishbone. If they need to change one out, change any springs or anything, it's a 2-minute job instead of an hour's work. So that's why that is. Then we've got oil coolers here probably for our gearbox and our diff. And then we've got anti-roll bar here, bladed anti-roll bars going in, more of that later. And then they're telling us to paint this front area here black. Not sure that's correct. That would probably be the same colour as the body. It's the subframe that would be black. But we can always check that out from our references. Oh, one more thing. Check your references for the car you're building. I've seen images with these painted blue, and I've seen them images painted gold. So just check your references. I've got a feeling gold is the colour to go. The suspension on these cars was built by Multimatic, by the way, so I'm not sure why I've seen some blue. Engine going in here, so you've got like a dummy engine, a sump with exhaust manifolds on it going in. You've got the Hollinger gearbox here, which is going onto the back of the dummy engine, what's part of it, and then that's going to sit in there into the floor, and you'll see it through the tunnel underneath. They're telling you XF16. Go on Google, search Hollinger 6-speed transmission, and you'll see they're actually a bit of a goldy colour, so perhaps a bit of X32, is it? One of the X32 or 33, one of the titanium gold colours would really improve the look of it. Okay, so you've got the rear subframe here, and I would be tempted to paint that X18 rather than X1. We've got the detail here with the solid aluminium diff mountings there, so X13, that'll give you the anodised aluminium look. Probably paint them silver first and then a thin coat of X13, really make them pop out if you care about the underside of your model that much. Prop shaft was aluminium, I believe, so you could actually paint that silver. And then we've got these billet machined lower arms, and the uprights were also aluminum, so would be painted the aluminium colour as well. Obviously there's a massive range now of metallic and aluminium paints you can get. Tamiya are obviously recommending their own XF16, and all the rest of this would be black. So we're going to add the uprights on with the upper links there, and then we've got a lower link there going in. Polycaps before we add our disc brakes, painting our calipers and everything, and putting the decals on, which is a nice touch. And then moving along, we've got these arms here which go in. These are stop the hop. Most people who have Mustangs know about these arms, and they replace them because they tend to flex and make the rear wheels hop and tramp under acceleration. So we all replace them. This being a race car, they'll probably be rose jointed. Moving on to the front, so we've got the front subframe here, and that would be painted black. Now, for some reason, there's no colour call out on there. That's a bit weird, but that would be painted black. That would be like a semi-gloss black X18. And then we've got our front struts here. Again, they're telling us to paint them gold. And then we've got here, you've got the metallic blue here. So you can see, like I say, you've got the different colours. Check your references to see what you want to do. Brake calipers there for the front, massive Brembos, and we've got decals for them. Again, we've got polycaps to push our wheels in with, which is a nice touch. And then adding the steering rack, and that's going to clip in, and we're going to have positionable, steerable wheels. Wheels and tyres here, very simple, and we can see here, you'll notice straight away there's something very strange. Normally you would see a deeper dished wheel on the rear of a car and a flat face on the front. These cars run control tyres, so they have to run 11 by 18 wheels to fit those tyres. Now, I have actually asked Multimatic why they've done this. Basically, the reason is the fitment. To get an 11 by 18 inch wheel in the front, they have to have it with this offset so it's spaced out, and to get an 11 by 18 inch wheel in the rear and not have it sticking out, they have to have that offset. So that's why they have different offsets on the wheels. Now, if you've got a standard Mustang, if you go and buy a standard Mustang GT, the rear wheels are wider with a more of a dish in them, and the front wheels are narrower. So obviously it's all about getting those great big 11 by 18s in the front. So that's why they've done that. Very, very unusual. I've never ever seen a car with a higher offset in the front than in the rear. And also, I'm guessing this would greatly increase the scrub radius. Scrub radius is, if this is your point of rotation, say your kingpin, and your tyre is here, as it turns, it kind of turns on there. If it's out here, it does this, and that is called your scrub radius. And too much scrub radius will give you some very bad handling characteristics. No scrub radius will give you very, very numb steering. So you need a little bit of scrub radius, and there's positive is out and negative is in. So going on here, we've got our exhaust system going in. So this is a custom exhaust system made by Multimatic. So I believe it's stainless steel, so you would paint that in your X31 as they're calling out there. And then we've got our front air jacks going in. You obviously got this part here, the white part, X2, which is going to be the part which is welded into the body, and then the rest of it is the actual separate cylinder. So nice bit of detail painting in there, a couple of washes, get the detail popping, because you'll see those in the back of the front wheel arch. So we've got some parts going in here. So here's our rear air jacks. They're going in there into the floor. So again, get those nicely detailed and painted. This interior is going to be white, whatever colour the exterior is. Pretty much every car I've seen is white on the inside. So get these air jacks painted in lovely colours and make them pop, and they'll really stand out against your gloss white flooring there. Here we've got a fire extinguisher going in the back here into where the front of the boot would be, if you like. And then we've got this tank here, which is actually the pneumatic system for the Hollinger 6-speed sequential box. So you've got a little compressor there and a little reserve air tank, because this car has the paddles on the back of the steering wheel for up and down. And there's obviously, if the gearbox was bought as a manual, you would have the you've all seen sequential gearboxes where they're bang 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 through the gears and pulling them back and everything. With this one, you've got the flappy paddles. So what's happening there is every time you operate the panels, it's operating a solenoid which operates a pneumatic ram that goes bang 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 or bang 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 inside the box and makes it change. So it's basically a 6-speed sequential gearbox operated through paddles through a pneumatic system. So that's what that's for. So you've got the compressor and the tank there. This kit I'm going to be building out the box just to show you basically what you can get from a Tamiya kit without adding any extras. I will do another one and I'll add some plumbing in here, because a little bit of plumbing in there will really make it pop. Little floor panel there going over the pedals. If you're interested, look up your tilt and pedal boxes. This will be a 3-cylinder pedal box. You'll have one for the clutch, 2 for the brakes with a bias front and rear, and basically those cylinders will face backwards towards the driver. And then those those pedals will face, the cylinders will face backwards, and this panel here goes over the top of them as a footrest for the driver. So that would be carbon fibre or aluminium with a black grip tape on it or something, whatever. It's going to be flat black, as they're calling it. They're actually saying gloss black. Check your references. I've got lots of references. If you need any help, let me know. Onto the roll cage. We've got the roll cage here going in. Personally, I would build the roll cage as an assembly and then paint it in detail and everything, and then put it into the floor over the seat rather than do it like they've done here, because then you're going to have glue joints and everything. You don't want that. So we'll do that when we build it. We'll see if we can get the roll cage glued together and then put it in over the seat. Massive rear view mirror here going in, which is beautiful. Most race cars have these huge rear view mirrors, so they've sort of got a very wide angle of vision behind them. Then we've got our, blimey, it's just started pouring down. Steering wheel going in here, nice flat bottom steering wheel. And then we've got the little control area there with the paddles and everything on. And there's our steering column. We've got the little Motec display on the top there, which is a nice touch. Nice to see on the roll cage they've got the strengthening strips which go in between the roll cage and the actual pillar. So that's a nice touch. And usually they're missing on car kits. They've got them on the sides there as well. Probably thin them out, make them look a little better. But yeah, nice to see that they're there. Seat obviously has belts and they're done as decals, so you may wish to go aftermarket and replace them. Moving on now to the dashboard. We've got the dashboard here. Look up any sort of pre-2018 Mustang or S550, so from 2015 2018 it's going to have the same dashboard, so you can get some references from there. 3 vents across the centre. This one's got a hole in the centre because there would be a strap going through there with the netting to the right of the driver. Obviously in this kit it's not included, it's something you could add or get on the aftermarket, whatever. No doubt somebody will jump on that one. But yeah, basically it attaches to the roll cage and goes through that air vent in the dash, or the missing air vent in the dash. 2 chrome rings around the instrument panel. You might want to use your Molotov chrome pen or whatever to do those. And then we've got some carbon fibre door panels here, and we've got the handles there, so you can get your carbon fibre decals out and have some fun. Beautiful bonnet here with the massive carbon fibre vents, really nice. If I've got a picture I'll put it up now, but absolutely stunning. So we're adding those into the underside of the body, and then moving on, if I can grab the page, moving on now straight onto the rear bumper, adding in those beautiful rear exhausts. We'll look at those in a minute on the sprues. Red rear tail lights, so they're going to be clear parts. You're going to paint those red, and then the black surround, so nice bit of detail painting required there. And then you've got the chrome inner part, and we're going to actually paint that around but leave the chrome bit in the middle. So so quite a complex little assembly there. Nice to see we've got red tail lights. European Mustangs have clear tail lights, which I've got on mine, and I detest them, I hate them. So we've got the front grille going in here. Notice this front grille has no has a mesh in it, mesh design, but there's no see-through area because there's no radiator engine detail or anything, so it's just a blanked off panel. And then we've got our front splitter going in here, and then our canards going in there, and then there'll be another spoiler going underneath here. Check your references. These could be either plastic or carbon fibre, so check the references for the actual car you're building. Standard road car, they're plastic. These I think you'll always find a carbon fibre because they're not sort of part of the road car. These could be plastic or carbon fibre, so check that out. Then moving on here, we've got the headlights. I almost said front headlights then. We've got the headlights going together, so we've got the actual chrome interior, and then we've got the clear lens going in from behind. I forget what the xenon, aren't they? Xenon lights going in from behind, and then you've got the clear part there. Probably paint that white in the back because that's how they look when they're switched off. They're white. Paint those white, get them in there. They are what I call the shark's gills, the ones that don't light up in the European markets, but they do light up in the American markets. So I need to cut my headlamps apart and get them working. And then we're going to add the headlights in, as you can see here, and then there's I've got the clear lens going in first, sorry, and then we've got the actual headlight body itself going in. If only the real headlamps were that easy. Window masks going in, windscreen wipers going on. Very nice touch. They got these windscreen wipers separate. Remember, this is actually a Lexan screen, so you've got this large frame round here with all the rivets and bolts and stuff in it. So you've got your masks to enable you to paint that inside. And then this is for the outside, so that's another nice touch. And then you've got all your masks here to do the side windows. All of the windows on this car are Lexan polycarbonate. And then you've got two little steel stiffeners, or they might be aluminium stiffeners there running up inside. They're actually matte black in real life. I don't quite know how you could make, because they're moulded into the clear part, I don't know how you could make them look matte. So that'd be interesting to see. Adding all the clear parts into the body, they're going to be a beautiful fit because they're Tamiya, we just know it. Rear brake light mounting going in there, that sits just above the rear screen. You can see it here. There it is there. And then you've got the two side skirts going on. Got the rear diffuser going in, sitting into those three holes in the base of the tank there. And then we've got the showing you how that rear diffuser fits in, telling you to pull the body apart. It looks like the floor will actually clip into the body, so you can take it off future time if you want to. And then you've got the front underguard going on here, which is a nice touch. That's going to cover up a lot of the missing detail. And then you've got your headlights. Your wing mirrors here, nice American shaped wing mirrors instead of the horrible European shaped ones, which are, if you look on pictures, you'll see they're awful. Then you've got your carbon fibre rear wing. That definitely is carbon fibre, and so you can get your carbon fibre decals out on that. But I think Tamiya are actually giving us a decal for that anyway. Side vents there, door handles going on, nice to see they're separate. I forgot to say, as of now, up until now, the only kit we've had of the S550 Mustang is the Revell Snap Together kit, which is very toy-like and has like things like moulded on door handles and stuff, which are just a lump, whereas these are nice separate parts, because in the real life they are handles you put your hand behind, they're not handles you go from underneath. We've got the rear light going on there, that'll be the flashing rear light for poor vision. Air jacks, there's the inlet for the air jacks there. Give that some nice painting and make it pop. And then you can see here there's the detail for the painting of that part. And then we're adding these vents in again. Bonnet latches, and that's about it. We're done. So instructions on the back there on painting, and you can have a read of that if you want to see that there. And then that's that. Right, so moving along from the instructions, those to one side. We can now look at the background information. So they've put this sheet in here. You've got a picture of the model on the front there and an aerial view of the model there. And then we've got inside here we've got English, we've got Japanese on the front, English, German and French. So nice to have the three languages in there, or the four languages should I say. And then here we've got our call outs. So you can see we've got the grey scheme and the white scheme. As I say, they're calling this one the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and this one is the Ford official car. So if you look on YouTube, you will see this car doing some very, very silly things at Goodwood and making lots and lots of noise. Yeah, nice to see. We've got some die cut, yes they are die cut stencils for the windows, which is a nice touch. And you can see the rear window there is split into three, so you can paint those bands there, which are basically the stiffeners, whatever they're made of material, but they stop the rear window flexing and becoming a big loudspeaker going down the road. We've got the small decals here, so we've got our instrument panel. Let's just give you a close-up here. Okay, and then here we've got our this is our small decal sheet here, which has got all our details on. So you can see here, going from the bottom right across, we've got there's the instrument, the switch panel for the center of the dash. We've got some more lights there, and then these two little tiny decals here for the steering wheel. We've got our front lights indicators, and then this is for the seats. It's this circuit decal there is for the back of the seat. This one's going on the back of the mirror, roll cage. We've got some stencil data there. Nice to see that here they've managed to get the little tiny badge which goes on the dashboard. If you've ever been in a Mustang, you'll see 50 years or whatever is 1964. So nice little touch there. And then we've got our Brembo badges for our brake calipers. That one there, 55, that's the decal for the fire extinguisher. And then we've got some GT4 badging there, which I don't think is used on the grey car, but it's used on the white one. And then we've got the our sponsors across the bottom there, or not sponsors, but people who've who have equipment in the car. So you've got Motec for all the electronics, you've got Sparco for seat belts and safety equipment, Brembo brakes, Hollinger transmission, Roush Yates engines, and then you've got your Multimatic DSSV suspension, as I mentioned before. So yeah, all nice, all lovely. So we've got those there, and obviously they're in black, and then we get them again in here in white for the grey car. So as I said in my last video, which is now gone, if you're building one of these and a buddy of yours is building it, and one of you's doing grey, one of you's doing white, you might want to do some swapping with decals, because it looks like you've pretty much got another set of decals for the grey and the white, so you'd have a spare set. So we've got carbon fibre decal here for the rear wing, and then the wing end plates with the Ford badging on. Sun strip there for the grey car, sun strip there for the white car. You can see one's got the Ford Performance and one's just got the black. Obviously we've got our Sparco seat belts there, more Sparco badging, Ford Performance logos, and then we've got all this here, the blue and silver flashing for the white car, and then we've got just the blue and white flashing there for the grey car. So very nice. And there we can see we've got the plain carbon fibre decals for the front canards. Now, as I say, check your references. Some of these appear to be plastic in the front spoiler splitter area. Some of them appear to be carbon fibre. Have a look, but you can always get your carbon fibre decals out if you so wish. So there we go. So that's all the information about the car, so you can have a read of that. Let's get that up there so you can get it focused in. There you go, you can pause there and have a read. So let's start looking at some plastic. So we'll start with the body shell, and it is beautiful. They've got the shape captured beautifully. We've got the you know, the proper shape here around the back end, and the other thing I like to see is they've got this step here. Now you may think it looks a bit weird when you're looking at your model. In reality, this rear quarter light is glass and moulded with a great big thick rubber surround, and it actually goes in on poppers. It's bonded to the body shell, and along this bottom edge here it's got some double-sided tape and it's stuck down. So when you remove the rubber strip from the door, you end up with that step, because there's a rubber strip on the top of the door which the race car doesn't have, but the rear window surround is still there, otherwise it looks very odd with a great big opening. So they've had to put that rubber surround back in. Now for the race car it's accurate. In reality it looks odd. The other thing I mentioned in my last video was they've got all these panel lines, absolutely beautiful, all beautifully scribed, all straight and even and everything, and which is totally inaccurate, because in reality the panel lines on these cars are an absolute joke, especially this area here. I think pretty much every car I've seen, including mine, has got a gap here in the rear bumper. My boot lid didn't fit, my bonnet doesn't fit, the actual door shut lines are wider on the front than they are on the back. Really not very good at all. My bonnet on my real car, they've managed to get seam sealer from under the bonnet up over the top edge and then sprayed the car. So I've got seam sealer on the edge of the bonnet, which looks great. Thank you very much. So there we go. But that's the enough about my car, and that beautiful GT4 carbon fibre hood there with the carbon fibre veins in there. So if you want to go mad with your carbon fibre decals, you know, even if this is painted, those were definitely left bare carbon fibre. So yeah, and they look absolutely stunning. As I said, I showed you a picture earlier on. Tyres, we get 4 vinyl, rubber, whatever tyres, which are very flexible, beautifully moulded, not like the Revell ones, which we know if you've got the Ford GT, they're all carved up on the insides. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. A little bit of a mould seam around the middle, you might want to remove it or just sand it out. Yeah, usual. Something of note, as with most Tamiya kits these days, you don't get any tyre decals. So these were sponsored by Continental, I believe, so you might want to go and get yourself some decals or a stencil or something and get them painted. Clear parts, I haven't unbagged these because I don't want to get them scratched and everything, but basically you can see we've got the clear parts there, and they are crystal clear, very, very beautiful, as you'd expect from Tamiya. And like I said to you before, you've got this rear screen with these moulded in strips here. They're moulded on the inside, so as I said, I don't know how we would paint those and make them look matte unless we kind of put a strip of matte varnish over the top of them, but then when you look at it from the side it might look odd. So I think we'll just have to put up with the gloss in there. I guess they would look gloss through the screen anyway. I don't know. So we've got front headlights. I keep saying front headlights. where could you have, you can't have rear headlights, can you? So you've got the headlights there. Certainly the British GT cars I've seen, they were actually covered with a yellow cover, so tinting them down. And then we've got our side windows here with the vents in. We've also got vents in here in the rear window, and then we've got our windscreen there, and you can see you've got all the rivets going around on there. If I can get it out of the reflection. So as I say, go to town with the painting on these, really make them pop. So we've got our side lights there and indicators for the fronts, and then we've got our little what I call the shark gills for the headlights, rear lights there, and then this is going to be our rear side reflectors in here in the bumper there, and there we go. That's all our clear parts done. So very nice indeed, all crystal clear. Chrome parts again still in the bag. You can see here these exhausts are stunning. They are beautiful, really nice. Nicest plastic molded exhaust I've seen, and a little bit of black on the inside of them. And also notice the sprue connection points are in non-visible places, which is a nice touch, and most manufacturers need to take note. Rear lights there, so a lot of black painting in there, and then we'll put the red clear over it. It looks stunning. They are basically LED strips over there. Massive rear view mirror, typical race car rear view mirror, and then we've got the front light inserts there, which I believe will be painted black on the sides and then chrome around the front. But check your references, have a look. So there we go, that's the chrome parts. We've done all that. So let's move on to some sprues. And here is our white sprue. This is actually sprue, I've got it upside down. This is sprue A. So these are our white parts. And you can see really nice, beautiful, crisp, clean moulding, which you expect from Tamiya. So we've got our underside here of the floor, which is, looking at my car, this looks completely accurate. You might want to, if you want to make the inside of your car look more realistic, you might want to do a bit of drilling here, because these are actually holes in the steel box section, so you might want to drill them out just to make them look a bit more authentic. But got the seat buckets here in the back, moulded in, so they're obviously pressed steel. And we've got the all the floor pressings there, which is a nice touch. And then obviously here, there's no real detail because this all gets covered up with a diffuser. And then here on the front, that all gets covered up with an under tray as well, so you're not really going to see very much at all. We've got the beautiful GT350 front bumper there, which is absolutely gorgeous. I really wish I had one of these for mine. I may well get one. You can get the fake GT350 bumpers. A genuine GT350 front won't fit. So there we go. There's the interior there moulded on. We've got some ejector pin marks in here, you can see, but I think they're all just slightly raised. If they're not raised, they're very slightly shallow, so a little bit of sanding, maybe a touch of Mr. Surface, so they'll be gone. And also with this interior being gloss white, nothing's going to show up too much anyway. You've got your little welded in sections there for your air jacks, which is a nice touch. They're going to look lovely. Again, you can add plumbing to them. You've got the mount there for the fire extinguisher. Rear anti-roll bar is going to go in there, I believe. And then we've got the this is the mounting here for the for your compressor system and everything for your pneumatics on your Hollinger. We've got front air jacks here, rear shocks, or rear coilovers should I say, and then we've got the actual main roll cage parts here, you can see. Door handles there, so I'll give you a close-up of this in a minute. And we've got our rear air jacks there, fire extinguisher, air cylinder for the pneumatics, pedal. That looks like it's the mounting for the mirror there. There we go. So give you a close-up on all of this. You can see the lovely detailing in there. It's quite difficult to see on the white plastic, but there you go. You got your coilovers there for the rear end, and then there's your interior detail there in the floor. Very nice. And then the underside of the car there, which is lovely. And your coilovers. Yeah, you can see they're very nice indeed. So yeah, all in all, beautiful moulding. So our second sprue here is obviously black. I don't need to tell you that. This is our B parts. So we've got on here Got our front canards there. These are part of the front splitter. We've got front windscreen wipers here. We've got, this is the panel that goes in the roof for the reversing light, for the high level brake light. These are the side strakes that go in here for the air evacuation in the front wheel arches. Center console. We've got two oil cooler radiators there. We've got our bonnet latches there, which is basically our hold down pins. Battery box cover, and then we've got the vents here for the beautiful bonnet. And then these are going to be our light interior parts, so you'll have the shark's fins going in behind them. Interior door panels, front under tray, seat, rear spoiler, rear diffuser, front splitter, side skirts. This is our part rear diffuser and where the exhausts are going to poke through. Then we've got the actual mounting there with our paddles on for the steering wheel. Steering column. These, I believe, are parts for the actual mounting of the rear wing, and then you've got the rear wing supports there. End plates, steering wheel. This is your rear deck lid where your fuel filler is going through. Footrest going over those pedals for the over those cylinders where I showed you in the instructions. And then we've got the mounting here, and then we've got the compressor there for the air changing system. Got the main radiator grille there, and then we've got the lower grills there. So yeah, all really nice. So let's get you in on here so we can see we've got those canards there that don't have any moulding on them. So there's a couple of ejector pin marks on the back you'll have to deal with, but you might want to get your carbon fibre decals on them. Center console there, dash panel there, which is all very nice. The grille top and everything. If you've got a Mustang, you'll recognise that. As I say, that centre vent's missing for the net to go through. Front under tray, which is lovely, very nice indeed. And then we got the rear wing, seat, rear diffuser, wing end panels, wing mountings. Then we've got our paddles there with our steering wheel, and then there's the rear diffuser there where the exhaust come through. Then we got some grills, radiator grills there, interior details, footrest, deck panel, spoiler, side skirts, door panels, the screw detail in them, and then you've got those lovely vents for the bonnet. Just unfortunate there's nothing to see underneath them. And then again we've got some spoiler parts there which go around the front, and then our windscreen wipers there. All very nice. And then we've got the final sprue, which is our this is sprue C, and this is all our mechanical bits and pieces. So we've got this is going to be our gearbox cross member, and then we've got the air jack little filler there, air jack, and then we've got the rear light, rear suspension components, front uprights or front struts. These are parts of the front struts, differential there with the drive shafts coming out, the prop shaft down the centre. We've got our part of our rear subframe with our lower arms there, which are actually Multimatic specific parts. They're billet machined. Diff mounting there, rear subframe, dummy engine with Hollinger box, two halves there, dummy engine base with the composite plastic sump. This is going to be the rear anti-roll bar, and then we've got the wheels, obviously rear wheels here, front wheels there, brakes rear and front anti-roll bar, and then here we've got the front subframe, which looks extremely accurate, very close to the real thing. Rear uprights here with some upper and lower arms on them, exhaust system there molded in one piece, nice. Rear fuel fillers, stop the hop links I call them. Steering rack, and there we go. So I'll give you a close up on all this. Beautifully detailed exhaust system. Obviously the ends aren't drilled because you've got those chrome parts to go on. You can see there's the rear suspension components, front subframe, which looks very accurate, and then we got our disc brakes there, which are really nice with the Brembo logo into them. And then we've got our front wheels there with the deep dish. You can see they've got a deep dish on them, whereas the rears are practically flat. And then the rear wheels there with the rear brakes, rear anti-roll bar, dummy engine with transmission, front subframe, sorry, rear subframe, and then our rear subframe lower part with the lower billet machined wishbones, and then we've got our diff drive shafts, front McPherson struts, there's parts of the struts there, and then some little greebly pieces there. So all very, very nice indeed. So there we go, guys, that's it. And this has been Tamiya's brand new 1/24 Ford Mustang GT4, and highly recommended kit. It looks very, very accurate, and I'm really looking forward to the aftermarket jumping on this. If anybody's watching, what we need is decal sets to build loads of different variants. We need seat belts, which are currently available anyway. We need the netting, which goes between the driver, or goes to the right hand side of the driver, so down the centre of the car, and sits in the dash, because that is a very, very prominent part of the real car. And then we also need to be adding, which I'll do ourselves, we need to be adding some plumbing inside to really busy the inside up. They also seem to, most of them have a massive cup holder in them. If you look, they have a massive round sort of bottom cylinder with a, it's a massive. I asked what it is, and I was told, I said, that huge thing, it looks like a massive cup holder. They said, you're referring to the massive cup holder, sir. So there we go. So that's what that is. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this, and sorry if I've waffled a bit much, but it's a subject I'm very passionate about. I know quite a bit about, and really looking forward to building this. And as I say, this will be built out of the box bit by bit, and we will start off with a painting the body shell, and as soon as my splash paints arrive from Premium Hobbies, then we'll be getting into this grey paint scheme, and do that on camera. For my first time ever, I'll probably have to do an overdub, because I won't be able to talk with my mask on and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. Go out and get yourself one, and we can build it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.